Hello everybody, it's been a while. This is the subject of my, hopefully a new video series. I'm going to be converting this ex-ambulance into a, well, camper van, as everyone else does. Van life, etc, etc. It's a 07 plate Transit. It's a wilker body, I do believe. Uses the Phoenix management system in the back. Bit of a pain in the arse to work around, but hopefully I can work around it. I'm afraid I haven't got a tripod at the moment, although I do have a side like that. I haven't got a tripod at the moment, so it's not going to be the best of videos. You may even not be able to see anything because it's getting a bit dark. That's a general overview of the outside. I'm going to pop inside now and I'm going to get some videos inside where there's actually lighting, so you might be able to see something. Okay, this is the inside. It's no electric step, just a nice manual step with a little rod that pulls it out and a couple of rose joints. Nice, simple and robust. The inside of the vehicle is partially stripped, as you can see. The cabinets have been taken out of that corner and the blue light controls have been removed. This is the view, obviously, of the front. No air conditioning system, the radio system's been removed. No oxygen system. So I'm not sure, I don't think it was a frontline ambulance. It didn't seem to be used for A&E. I'm not sure. A fair bit of wiring's already been pulled out and I've been having a poke around various areas, checking out, let's see if I can get some light on the subject, checking out various cable runs. Not sure if you can see that. There's a nice big dose of cables in there. They're going to need checking through. I've already checked some of it, and most of the grey cables are for the blues and twos, which can be taken out. The light blue cable, if you can see it up there, is the 240 volts. The rest of it is all an unknown. It's got, sorry about the camera work, but I'm not very good at this. That cabinet there, which contains the fridge, also contains a door that goes through to the outside, so that's a pass through. General idea is I'll be using that as a shower toilet compartment after I've expanded on it. Leaving the outside access door in place so I can access the back of the shower cubicle, remove the toilet cassette, etc, etc. I'll probably be moving that whole unit out to meet the edge of that window. That window is going to go and I'm going to have a pass through into the cab. The good thing about this conversion is it's a chassis cowl, not a chassis cab, which means there's no back to the cab. The cab is bolted to a roll frame that goes all around there and the cab bolts directly to the box at the back, so there's no metal work to remove, etc, etc, which has been quite a problem on WAS. I believe they had problems, or it made it more difficult, should I say, to create the pass-through. All this cabinet work here is all original. There's a few melted cupboard doors there because the pipe has come off the back of the heater system, which is in an external locker, nice and quiet under the floor, out of the way. Because the pipe came off, the heat's been coming up through the cupboard and it's melted a couple of the cupboard doors. That one there, as you can see, is melted. That one there is slightly melted. I don't think I'm going to run out of cupboard space at all. There's way more cupboards than I'll ever need. Let's back up and try not to fall out the side door. As you can see, the overhead cupboards have all got gas struts on them, double locks, nice aluminium framing. I'll cover the doors in some form of vinyl, make them look a little nicer. That should be better. It's got a double back door. I intend to keep both the back doors. I'm intending to get rid of that chair and put a sofa along that side wall. I've got an old 1970s metal framed pull out sofa bed, 7 foot long, which is too long for that gap, but it's a metal frame so I can cut it down, re-weld it, and that'll run from there to the back and pull out as a double bed. The idea being that when the bed's pulled out you can still get out the side of it, walk down and use the toilet and shower. This over here, there's an external locker there. You can just about see the light for it there, which is a manual switch. That I'm going to use as a wardrobe. I shall cut doors in this side, leave the external door on it, and just have it so I can load up from the outside. I don't really want to be ripping out too much of this cabinetry because it's really well fitted. It's excellent stuff. It's not worth taking out. It's a cost I really don't need to be repeated to change it over. I should put shelves in there, storage, etc, etc. Storage isn't going to be a problem in any way, shape or form. This is the Phoenix system control panel. I'm not sure if you can see any of that, but it all works. You can turn off the left and right switches, turn them back on, you can dim them, etc, etc. There are 2 air vents, one at the back, which is an extractor, which I'm going to change to be an, what's the opposite of extract? Inject, to be an injector. There's also another one at the front, which at the moment blows in, and that I'm going to change over to being an extractor because I'll be having the cooker and sink in this corner. Let's turn that off, it's rather noisy. There are also, you can see there, spotlights which do and don't work when they feel like it. They're not working today, typical. What else have we got? Got another light up there in the ceiling which has got 2 settings, dim, off and bright and off. These handrails that you may be able to see if I can get back far enough and get some light off of them. Let's have a look. If I turn that row off and try not to fall out the door, you can see those handrails there. I'm going to take the handrails out and I will transfer those onto some blocks of wood into this cupboard down here, and I'll use them as a hanging rail, quite simply. Why buy something when you've already got? That's what I say. This cupboard here will have to go. It's also got an external door, but because the sofas go in there, the idea is generally I'm going to cut the cupboard down, so to remove the top half from maybe there upwards, so I can have the sofa sitting over it, and then that will be an external gas locker. I'll block off that vent there and have it as an external gas locker because it's one of the I think it's not as deep as, actually it's just as deep as that locker, it's the same depth. Plans will change obviously as I find things and come across things and I'm like, oh, that makes a difference. Plans will change. You can just about see the, I don't know if you can just about see the insulation in there. It's rock wool silver backed. It's not the solid foam stuff that they seem to use in the German ambulance conversion, shall we say. There's another cupboard there, and I believe that slot up there was for the radio. I think that because for some reason, if you look up here, there's a door that when you open it everything falls out and it makes a complete mess all over the floor. That's where I put the saws. Yes, well, this is the trouble. Too many cupboards, not enough brain cells. We've got the rather handy towel dispenser there. Always comes in handy. There's an overcab locker. It's locked at the moment and I can't remember where I've put the key. It's fully carpeted but not insulated, hence it smells a bit damp. So I'm going to rip all that out, insulate it and then recarpet it. There's a roof vent, as you can see. It's wedged up at the moment to try and keep the inside from getting too damp. This is the roof vent, fully movable, well, directionable vents. That will be, as I say, turned to extracting because it will be nearest to the cooker, and the sink, which will be over there, pass through in the shower, or shower, pass through cooker and sink. There is a cupboard down there which houses the battery, which used to run to the tail lift, but the tail lift's been taken off. So that was part of the beauty of buying this vehicle, was that a lot of work had already been done, as I'm sure you nearly saw outside. There's one of the external lockers. That's the one that's going to be cut in half inside to go over the bed, but it drops below the floor level, so perfect for a gas locker, hopefully. Next to the main door, you've got that locker door that I'm hoping to use for access for the toilet and the back of the shower. There is the battery tray. It slides out, takes 4 lead acid batteries. There's only 2 in there at the moment, new, I hasten to add. This side, you can pick that up, is the long storage locker. In there is the diesel heater and the battery. The battery cables run back to the controls for where the tail lift was, and the tail lift controls lived in that locker down there. That's now full of pots of paint, which obviously the van's been painted. It came with the van when I bought it. That locker there is the one that I'm thinking of just sealing up permanently, taking the door handle off, because that door handle works and the door handle on the back door doesn't. So I can replace that with the one. Again, sorry about the shaky hands, but I seem to have lost my tripod. I haven't done any filming for a few years. Life's been a bit hectic, and although I'm still scrapping, I'm not really been doing YouTube. Things are only sorted themselves out recently. There's that external locker. I will probably put a wall on the inside. There'll be enough room for the door to sit into. You'll open the door, you'll have access to the heater for the shower system, toilet cassette, etc, etc. There's no central locking fitted to this vehicle. There is a door ajar switch on this door, I do believe. Up there, nice simple push switch. Nothing too complicated, just a warning on the front. I believe these are contacts. They could be for the lights, I'm not actually sure, but I know there's no central locking on the back, or if there is, it doesn't work. So that really doesn't matter at the moment. That's something else that can be sorted out at a later date. This is the battery locker. If I can do this with one hand. Obviously I couldn't. See, that slides out. Batteries in there. The van's actually got 4 brand new Banner batteries on it, 2 only for driver's seat, 1 in there and 1 on the other side for the tail lift, even though there's no tail lift. This is the locker that's going to become, hopefully, the gas locker. As you see, it extends below floor level, and once I've put a sofa in there, I may be able to extend the locker back and deepen it that way more, so I can get a gas bottle in there. If not, I'll figure something out, maybe fit a permanent gas tank underneath the vehicle. This is the back of what I was going to use for the wardrobe with its manual light. You see, not very big. Whether or not I'll keep the door here or not, I don't know. I mean, do you really need to have that rear outside access to your wardrobe? I just don't want to have to seal doors up for no reason. The idea of this is to do it as simply as possible, with as little change as possible. Make it as easy for me as I can. There's the back locker that used to contain the controls and the pump for the tail lift. Here we've got the original running lights to replace the little mauve ones that are currently fitted. I'm not sure what I'll go with there. I may keep that, I may not. There's the old, I believe that's, well, I don't know what that's for. There you go, something interesting. I haven't actually seen that before. I keep finding cubby holes. I didn't even know this paint was in here until last week. I gave a message to the chap I bought it off on eBay, asking if he could tell me where he bought the paint from, and he said there's some in a locker. I just hadn't found that locker yet. Now I have, and it appears I have paint to play with. The vehicle comes with these rather nice rubbing streaks along the side. Quite like them. If I had a bull bar to the front, that should make it look quite utilitarian, which is, to be fair, the look I prefer rather than camper. I'm not really going for the zombie apocalypse look, but you know, I'm not a looker myself, so why should my vehicles be? That's the way I look at it. Right, the cab, if we've got any light left, which we may have if I turn the interior lights on. This is the cab. Currently there's an isolator switch there. Apparently it isolates the vehicle batteries, and yet you can still start the vehicle with it isolated, so I don't know what it does. There's another isolator there that literally turns everything off in the back. Turns the rear lights off, switch it back on, control panel pops back up. It was there because the chap before was having trouble with flat batteries. Behind there is the Phoenix system. Not that you can see it because it's so dark. Should have really done this a bit earlier, but I'm busy. Too bright. Can you see in there? Wiring and more wiring. That's the Phoenix system. The van's fully carpeted, if you can see any of that at all. As I say, it was a chassis cowl, not a chassis cab. So there is actually a step down there. If you can see any of this, I'm sorry, this is going to be too dark, I know. I'm useless at this, but I'm useless at most things, so you know, don't take it personally. But the cab's got really no screw holes, no rubbish, no switches. There's a few little screw holes there that will trim down and fill with some plastic filler. That's the control panels. That's the warning, all that side's warnings. It's warning me there's a door open at the moment. It also warns me if the rear door's open. I think it only works on the side door. I'm not sure if it works on the back doors yet, because I'm not sure if you saw, there's a bicycle lock holding them shut, so I can't open it at the moment because the bicycle lock is seized. That's the front Phoenix system, Carnation Designs. The only thing when you do shut off that front battery is that it switches off the radio memory and resets the trip meter. It doesn't stop the vehicle starting. You can drive it down the road, do what you want. All the little things I've got to be sorted out. That locker door is seized at the moment. I can undo it, but then sometimes I can't lock it, so I'm not going to open it at the moment to show you the diesel system. I'm sure you've all seen a diesel heater before. No air suspension. Doesn't really bother me. I'm not a great fan of air suspension. I have had converted ambulances before. Admittedly, the last one I converted was an LDV 400, which was about 20 years ago. And well, the air suspension was a problem, but the van rusted around the air suspension, so I shouldn't really complain about it too much. The chap who had it before me has done a reasonable job roller painting it. It's a 6-footer, as we call it in the trade. I'm a mechanic by trade. As you can see, I fixed that side light by walking around the van and videoing it. There she is. I don't know what else I could really tell you about it. I don't know enough to say anything else, to be honest. I'm going to go home now and try and edit this into something acceptable. It probably won't be, but stick with it, it'll probably get better. Maybe.